Looking good, guys. I got no shoes on, so I'm glad your shot is just face profile. I'm sorry, this is just how I dress.
That's okay. We're just trying to capture who you are. You don't need to be something you're not.
I just now, after you mentioned that I have this Subway jersey on, I'm like, wow, I look like a complete jerk. I'm sorry.
Welcome to Deep Talks. My name is Adeline, and you're watching the Passionately Living series. Today I have Branden from BN Exotics. He is a snake breeder and he's very, very passionate about reptiles and animals and what he does. And I'm super excited that he's invited us to his secret location where he does what he does. So thank you so much for having us here.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm really excited.
I wanted to know a little bit, like, your personal journey, how you came to be where you are, how you connected, how you felt this connection with snakes, and then to extend into like a whole business with it.
Yeah, sounds good. So when I was young, I just really liked watching stuff like Steve Irwin and Jeff Corwin and like just all Animal Planet. That's all I was into. When I was in like elementary school, all I would read for like, I don't know if you had it in your elementary school, but you had to do like the little logs of like the stuff. So I'd read like reptile books and just write facts down.
Yeah.
So that's literally all I was interested in as a kid. I'd just run around the yard and catch snakes and catch frogs, whatever was out there.
Mm-hmm.
So probably like 11th grade, I met these people called Loxahatchee Herp Hatchery, and I actually went and worked there for probably like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they breed reptiles and rodents. And so I worked there for a while and really like learned that people were making good money and good livings and able to pay all these employees and do all these crazy things. And I was like, wow, this is definitely what I'm gonna do, like 100%. Like I worked there and I was like, yo, this is like, how is this even a job?
Right.
Like, how is someone literally making enough money to support a family and do stuff that they want to do, just keeping a bunch of reptiles and stuff? So that like completely blew my mind. So after that, I actually worked for these other people that I met through connections with that, and that was a company called BPD and a company called JHB. Okay. So I worked for them for a while, and started to sell all of my stuff that I had. Just not all of it, but some of the stuff that I just was like, yo, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I was like,
Were you buying them? Were you finding them?
Mainly like Craigslist, honestly. So I was just on Craigslist, and like any $100 I get from something, doing something, or $50 or $25, I just put that away and I just scroll through Craigslist every day or scroll through Facebook or something, just find some deal that I can afford and be like, I want that snake.
Right.
So I do that, and then so eventually I started working for these guys, and they were really young, probably like just a few years older than me, and they were fully into this, fully invested. So just watching them do that really got me to be like, yo, I'm 3 years younger than these guys, and I can definitely do this. So after that, I started just buying stuff from them, buying stuff from other places, and just raising it up, and that's everything I have in here. And then, I have good friends in this that have really helped me out and pushed me a lot, like Trademark Exotics. That's my friend Josh, who really is probably like the best person I've met through this. It's just a really nice guy. It's just really a real story that makes me think that I can definitely really do this.
Oh, wow.
So.
I was curious also how, a little bit of like the controversialness of this business, right?
Yeah,
is it as controversial as Tiger King?
I wouldn't say it's as controversial as Tiger King or anything like that nonsense crazy show, but there definitely is a lot of controversy. I mean, you're keeping animals in not the biggest tubs, and people don't understand that these animals don't need a lot of room. These animals thrive in little areas where they sit and wait for food. They don't move around. The animals that need the room, you give them the room, and if you don't have the room and you can't provide that for them, you shouldn't keep them. But there's so many people in this industry that keep animals that need height or that need length or that need to dig, that don't give them the space. So there's a lot of controversy with that, and
the way that they're kept and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And there's plenty of people that don't care about the health, that don't care about the whatever. They just make money off it. So they're.
What's a day in your office like?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is really just the beginning of what I'm going to turn this into. I mean, I'm in a little warehouse here, but in the future, I plan on being on a big property with a warehouse and just a yard full of turtles and lizards and snakes and all that crazy stuff. But a typical day here is just, I mean, I come here, I spot clean all my ball pythons, I go through all this stuff, make sure everything's good, and then I don't touch any of my other animals until I'm completely done with these animals. If I'm not done with these animals for the day, I'm not going to touch anything that's on the other side of my shop. So
why is that?
Just transferring bacteria and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just, you're not supposed to cross-contaminate anything, so having anything even relatively close, I just don't like to touch my ball pythons and then touch something and then go back. I still wear gloves and I use chlorhexidine, but you just don't want to do that.
So on Deep Talk specifically, I like to talk about intuition, creativity, and passion. And what I'd like to know about this business in the snake and reptile world, how do you use intuition in this hobby creation that you have here?
Yeah, so intuition is actually used a lot. I mean, definitely when you're working with like big lizards and like animals that can really mess you up and ruin your day, month, year, life. So yeah, you always want to just, I mean, you can really read an animal. Snakes and lizards, you can really read.
But you can't though. I feel like you can. How do you feel? How do you, what is the like experience of what it's like to know if that is an aggressive
Yeah, I
animal?
mean, when it comes to a ball python, it's always just gonna like tense up and get real tense and maybe make a little bit of hissing and like just cock back its neck. So it's gonna be ready to jump out and get you. When it comes to like a lizard, it's a little more tricky because if it wants to, it could just be climbing on you and then just take a chomp out of you, and that's just how he's feeling that day. So it's definitely hard and it takes years, and like I've worked for a lot of different people and a lot of different things, and
they don't tense. You don't feel a sensation. You just like
no, definitely do. But compared to a snake is usually a lot easier to read, especially like a ball python. When you're dealing with something else like a rainbow boa or something like that, they don't necessarily have to cock their neck back. They'll just latch onto you. But something like a ball python, you can really tell when it's in a.
Have you been bit?
Yeah, for sure.
A lot?
Yeah.
Oh my god, do you have like scars?
No, I mean, I have scars.
Bites?
Like this is a scar from the cayman lizard over here, and then not really too much.
Nothing like bad, like you had to go to the hospital?
Yeah, definitely not.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, my cat like fucks me up. Like that's.
Yeah, I mean, a guy I worked for at one time got wrapped up by a 15-foot python. It was just me and him there, and it got him right on the waist. It just wouldn't let go for like 5 minutes.
And what do you do in that moment? I'm assuming intuition kicks in again.
Yeah, I mean, intuition kicks in a little, but also you're just really scared, and it's never happened before. Like, I've never seen that happen, and neither did he, so it really wasn't something we were prepared for, but eventually it lets go, and
oh my gosh.
You're okay, but...
So on that tangent, I think I'm going to play off of this from the intuition. So there is there's like a spiritual teacher that I like to listen to. His name is Sadhguru, and he's like this Indian guru, and he loves snakes, and he has a very special connection with them. He talks about like the mysticism of them and how like they're so misunderstood, just as an entire species. And he says how because snakes can see heat. Is that true?
Yeah,
right? They
sure.
see heat, so they're always feeding off of like what humans are doing because of our warm-bloodedness. So he says that when you're in the wild, if you approach a snake and give your hand, the snake will actually come to your hand. I don't know if that's true or not, but he says that, but the minute you have your thought changes, like to a fear or a bad sense of that, they sense it right away and could just turn and bite you in that moment. So like you have to be super conscious of your thinking and your body and your breathing, because they are like the closest being to the earth, because they don't
ever leave.
They don't hear, right? They're like blind.
Yeah, there's no eardrum.
And their vision, do they see?
The vision, it obviously differs on every snake, but the vision is really not that great. It's really just the heat pits and everything.
So they feel whatever is under, so they can feel all the frequencies of anything.
Yeah.
So I thought that was just so crazy and awesome. All right, so the next subject is creativity. How do you get to express it in this type of work?
So when it comes to creativity, I don't have too many lizards, but you can make like cool enclosures. I have a couple over here that aren't crazy, but they're still super fun
You
to
made
put
all
together.
of these?
I mean, those are just glass cages, and then I just put the stuff inside of them. So yeah, technically, I guess that one's made from my brother-in-law, but these are all just put together and stuff. So when it comes to that creativity, and then also with ball pythons and every snake, you're breeding them and you're going for stuff that maybe no one's ever gotten before, or maybe someone has gotten before, but it's still so beautiful and so crazy that you just want to see it crawl out of the egg for your own self. Like that's just, so definitely with breeding and definitely with just all that stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely use a lot of creativity.
And the snakes, from what I know, as soon as they're hatched, they're like
yes,
they don't need the mother, they don't need it, they're like pretty much independent.
That's with almost all reptiles. As
really?
soon as they hatch, they go. But I actually have a pair of monkey-tailed skinks over here, and those will actually basically stay in a family for life. So when they have a baby, that baby will actually be with the mom for, don't hold me accountable, but I think like 6 to 8 months maybe, or whatever. It'll be hanging out on its back and everything.
But they don't give like milk or anything.
No,
so they just hang out.
Just hang out.
Just by being together. That's
some reptiles actually have like very close knit family bonds. So so it's cool.
But snakes not.
No.
Yeah, they're like, you're here, go.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So let's get into the passion. And so passion, when I talk about it, it's really like your enhanced sense of aliveness. You know, like what makes you come alive in this business, and being with them, what that experience is like for you. Is it the beauty of them? Is it their is it the way they feel? Is it their
So definitely a lot to do with the beauty. I mean, it's hard to look at these animals and not be like, yo, this thing is like freaking gorgeous. But also just watching like life be created, like a snake crawling out of an egg, or a female laying a clutch, or I can't imagine getting a baby from something like a monkey-tailed skink, or just crazy future projects that I want to get into. I can't imagine just hatching little tortoises out of eggs and stuff. That's just, I mean, that's what the future holds for me for sure, and that's what I'm in this for. But it's just, I mean, watching life be created is just, I mean, how cool is that? Oh my gosh,
just being a witness of it.
Yeah,
I get that.
Sure.
That makes a lot of sense. And what about as far as like what brings you the fulfillment at the end of the day? Is it the actual creation? Does it come in from the networking? Are you meeting cool people? Is it just really being able to support yourself and be in this type of environment?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully future supporting myself, it's solely in breeding reptiles. Hopefully that's what happens. But just surrounding myself with animals, and any kind of animals, I'll be super happy. And if I can turn keeping animals well and keeping them happy and healthy and everything, and make a career out of that, I mean, that's what will ultimately make me just the happiest person in the world.
That's awesome.
And then be able to also hopefully give back in the future to animals that need help and stuff. I would love to open.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, are you interested in the rescue aspect?
Yeah, I would love, if I ever made enough money, to set aside another place where I can rescue animals and stuff. I've always gotten birds and squirrels and turtles that are injured and bring them to the place, and that's just such a good feeling. So I can't imagine being able to rehab all these animals. It's a lot to do between breeding animals and then also running a rescue.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no better feeling than helping it.
Yeah.
So.
Again, it's a totally different world. I think, like for someone like me, and that's why I found this to be so interesting, is that the fulfillment that you get from being with reptiles is like something that music gives me, or something that I get creatively in a different way. But
this for sure.
Just don't think about it that way. I feel like we would like to see a little bit of what you got.
Sounds good. I feel like that's the most fun part.
What are you going to show us first?
Oh, we're just going to show you guys some ball pythons first, and then we'll show you some other cool stuff after that.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So, is this your creation?
Yeah, so this is a snake that I hatched out last year, so it's a 2019. This is a GHI yellow belly leopard cinnamon 100% hemp hide. So this is definitely the coolest snake I've ever produced. And I can't wait to see her.
Can you give me some instruction? Like, do you not touch the head? Do you...
So honestly, these are just, the reasons they make such good pets is because they're so docile and you can really mess with them and they're not gonna do anything.
Really?
As long as there's some snakes that just naturally are just
More
not,
aggressive?
yeah, that are just naturally more aggressive,
Yeah.
and then that's maybe 5% of these species of
So
snakes.
this one's chill. I can
These
hold
are
this
super
one.
chill. You
Oh,
don't have to
what
worry
do
about its head.
I don't have
You
to...
could just put both your hands out like this, and I'll put them right on there, or her right on there.
Her.
But you don't have to worry. They're super
This is
chill.
amazing.
Yeah. So this is a crazy snake for sure.
I could see why this calms you.
Yeah, it's super
I really
relaxing
get
being
that.
here. It's honestly,
Yeah.
it's undoubtedly one of my favorite things to do. That and just go out and find snakes. There's just something so cool about interacting with these things, especially wild ones that you
Yeah.
find. Super cool. So yeah, this is definitely the coolest snake I've ever produced. Probably
I
the
just feel like it's gentleness. Like it's not as scary as.
so gentle. Once
Those
people
have such
have
a
their
bad vibe.
real first interaction with, especially a ball python,
Oh my gosh, it's so cute! Oh, please. Alright, so who's this?
So this is a pewter pied, and a pewter pied is a cinnamon pastel pied. So this is like a 2.5-year-old female, maybe just 2. I raised her from a little hatchling that I got from a friend of mine.
Just like green and gold.
Yeah, and they start, as they age, they weren't born with any of these black dots that you see on here. And as they get older, sometimes pieds, they just start getting all these black dots. Occasionally you have some that, as they get older, just their whole entire body is covered in dots.
Am I seeing pink or am I like hallucinating?
It's seeing pink because she actually just shed out. So when they shed out, all the blood rises to the top of their scales, and what you're actually seeing is basically the color because they're
Can I
white.
pet her too?
Yeah, you're perfectly
She's
fine.
another like chill one?
Yep, super chill.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful. I might come here like just for therapy sometimes.
It's literally the best.
This is so soothing, and they don't. It's amazing. So when they're putting their tongue out, what is that?
So that's actually how they
breathe?
sense heat.
Or they sense the heat?
That goes out and then comes back into something that's called a Jacobson organ, and that lets them read everything that's around them in that heat you were talking about. And if you can see at the front here, you see these little pits. I mean, it might be hard to see on the camera, but you can also see these little pits. And that's what really helps
They
them.
sense. Now, the way you picked her up, I don't even know if I'm sensing it right. She seems stiff compared to the other one.
Yeah.
Does that mean she's more like leave me alone?
Yeah, that one obviously a lot more chill and just cruising around. This one, they're called ball pythons, so typically when they're really scared, they're gonna fall up into like an actual,
that's why they're
like
called
a
that.
legit ball. So she's not, like she'll start crawling out.
Yeah.
She just a little more shy than
A
the
little
other.
shy at first.
But yeah, I mean, you can feel free to just,
She's
for
another one that
Yeah, you're perfectly fine.
I 100% trust you.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No, you should.
I feel like
Not in every life scenario, but
this one,
you'll be all right.
This one, I really trust your judgment here.
Yeah, I've maybe 2 snakes that I wouldn't let you hold, and just 'cause they're
beautiful. Look at your face.
also
Her
has-
head is so much larger than the other ones.
They do get a bit bigger. I mean, I don't have too many females that are real giants because
Yeah.
I've raised everything.
Yeah.
Nothing's 7, 8, 9 years old. But
What is the scenario
this
that
is
you've
this is
been
only a
bit?
4-year-old snake. So I've been bit quite a few times, but not really by my own animals. Just working for people over the years and just cleaning so many snakes every day. You're just bound to get them.
Their head down.
Yeah, so these are both 2 males.
Do they get aggressive with each other?
Males, if you put 2 males in one cage together, yeah, they'll definitely start like bopping and like trying to move each other and get all stiff. But out here like this, they don't really care. This is actually came from that male that I just showed you, the
Okay.
lemon last centipede.
Who did he mate with?
To a lesser pastel. Something
This one has like a.
Yeah, so this is actually sometimes really starts getting bigger. You can almost tell what's in it, which is really cool.
That's very
So you can
much
see
like
you can see some of the
Jurassic
veins.
Park-ish.
You can see that vein going through
Yeah.
there. It's gonna be hard to do on
Oh
this,
yeah, I
but
see
you
like
can
all the
see.
veins. Wow.
Monkey tail skink, otherwise known as a prehensile tail skink. This is my female. I'll get her out here in a second. She's not. Come on, bud. We'll give her a second.
Is this real what?
This is cork.
Oh, cork. Really? Camera shy. Oh, there she is. Hi.
So these guys have always been one of my favorite animals ever, and I definitely feel really lucky to own a pair of them. These guys really just eat vegetables and leafy greens. No meat. Lizards that really build like family bonds and will live in a family for their entire lives, which is really cool. And if you get 2 of them together, sometimes they just won't bond and just don't like each other. But these 2 definitely like each other.
These 2 came together?
I bought them the same day. They didn't come together, but I bought them the same day.
They were
and then-
hatchlings or they were little?
Yeah, they were babies.
Yeah.
They're probably a couple months old when I got them. Yeah, I've had them for about 2.5 years. They say they can breed at like 3, so we'll see. 3 or 4.
Oh god.
He'll calm down after a minute. He will tear my hands off.
You're so like calm.
Let's get this started.
Are their bites way more like vicious than like a snake
They just, all they eat is snails, so they have really gross bacteria in their mouth. So people have been sent to the hospitals getting bit just off the bacteria.
Alright. Thank you so much for letting me into this sacred space.
Yeah, of
and this was such an amazing experience for me just to learn and just understand what this whole business is about, and honestly just sharing your passion with me I think is really awesome. And I never would have had this intimate of an experience with a snake, I think, ever. So this has really, really opened my eyes, and I think for a lot of people watching, I think maybe you may have opened up other people's eyes to just how docile and loving these creatures are, and what you do here. It's an awesome journey.
Well, yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite things to show people who have never had this much of an intimate interaction with a snake, and their perspective just instantly changes, or they're just weirded out. But a lot of the times it's just that instant, like, wow, this isn't scary at all.
No.
Whatsoever. So
There's
yeah,
really nothing
really cool.
to fear about him. There is a huge respect.
Yeah.
Definitely, I can
sure.
feel this like the majesticness of this creature.
Yeah.
Definitely deserves mad respect, but really not as scary as they're ever played out in all these, between movies and the way that they're projected in the world, like they're these scary things. They're really not. So thank you so much. If you want to follow Branden, he is on Instagram and on Facebook, and I think you're creating some other stuff.
Yeah, I should have
in
a
the near
website
future.
hopefully coming out this year, and you guys will be able to see that. You'll see all my hatchlings on my Instagram, on Morph Market, and Facebook once I start hatching stuff out. So if you just keep posted, I would appreciate it.
Yes, definitely, and follow him on BN Exotics.
Yep,
right?
BN Exotics on Instagram,
Instagram.
Facebook, and everything.
Even if you're not a snake person, you're really going to be blown away by his photos and what he puts out, and just the beauty of these creatures. It's amazing. So
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me on. I
Thank
really
you.
have had such a great time.
Yeah, me too. This is a really fun experience. So thank you again for watching Deep Talks, and we'll see you next time. Yeah, you can just get all up in there.